Hey, look, college football kind of stepped into the spotlight this week, Tariq. And for me, it's like the worst possible situation is that the Power Five conferences actually split on the idea about whether to come back and play, with three playing and two not. Where does this leave us as far as that sport goes?
Basically, everybody else deciding whether or not they're going to play if they haven't already, and canceling the season. I don't see how you've got so many conferences that their presidents are making decisions that are tough. I don't see how you have a college season. I mean, you're going to have already, Big Ten, Pac-12. I mean, all these different conferences. ACC, as of this point, as we're recording this show, hasn't made a decision yet, so we don't know what they're going to do. This leaves a little college football left, a little opportunity for kids that are going to play and schools that are going to play. But I've got a bad feeling, and I had a bad feeling when we started this. You're not going to have the college football that you really want. No fans in the stands either, too, Duffy. I mean, it's not the same.
Well, I find it very interesting this week where when they wanted the football to happen, these schools, because, it's a moneymaker for these schools, the presidents decided, it happened in Tennessee in particular, they went to the players, the football players, and they said, do you guys want to play? And there was a tweet. There was a resounding yes from the players. We would like to play, which is interesting because now you want to listen to what the college athletes want, right? Because after that, you should have asked him, hey, would you like benefits and to get paid to play football? Because if you kept the conversation going, you would have found out a bunch of stuff what these players wanted. These kids are being used as pawns, man. That's what it is. And I find it also very interesting. Tariq, you brought up the college presidents making a decision. The reason why, as of now, the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 are playing, it's not the college presidents making these decisions. Scott Frost, head coach in Nebraska, did a press conference the other day saying, if we're not playing in the Big 10, we will find somewhere to play. And he did that press conference next to the president of the University of Nebraska. And the president of the University of Nebraska didn't say a word. Your head football coach is the mouthpiece for what's happening here. What is happening here, no matter how you feel about it, is proof positive that these college athletes are being used for people above them to make money and gain power, and it is disgusting.
I would go even backwards. Let's not call them student athletes. Let's call them athlete students. Because if you want to play, they are becoming athletes first. You can barely keep kids on campus at your university, yet you want these kids who bring in tons of money, millions upon billions of dollars throughout college football and throughout sports in general. And help fund other college sports. Let's not forget about this. College football, college basketball help fund Division I, Division II, Division III, other sports as well. That's how much revenue they bring in. It's not an easy decision, but it gets to show you exactly how strong the president is at that university as opposed to the coach. The coach runs Nebraska, not the president.
I see a couple of dynamics working here. First of all, the Mid-American Conference, the one that UB belongs to, is what got the ball rolling by coming out. First semi-major conference says we're not playing. Well, the reason they're not playing is because these larger conferences have already declared that they're not playing non-conference games, which is a large chunk of the income that the smaller conferences get. So it's easy for the MAC to wash their hands of it. The second thing is I'm shaking my head wondering why can't these Power 5 conferences get together on something? And then I look at what's happened, and this is a total power play. These three conferences that have said they're going to play football are putting themselves as a Power 3. So now it's a 3+2 instead of 5. They have a lot to gain by bucking the system here, and I don't think this is about player safety, Pat.
They also have a lot to lose by bucking the system. God forbid something terrible happens, right? Right now, let's talk about recruiting strictly, right? If I'm a coach in the SEC or the ACC, I can go into a kid's living room and say, see, these northern schools do not care about football. We are going to take care of you here in the ACC, the SEC. But if something goes wrong, if there's an outbreak or a coach gets sick or somebody dies, now, from a strictly strategic standpoint, Ohio State and Michigan and Wisconsin and these Big Ten schools can walk into a kid's living room, look at their parents and say, I care about your kid's safety, where these other kids these other schools just care about making money on the football field. It's a very, very risky proposition, not just for health, but for optics for these conferences to continue to play.
And remember, these kids are not adults. They're not adults fully yet. I don't understand they're over 18 and they make the decisions, but you're still going into, just like Duffy said, someone's household, sitting down and say, let me have your son for 3 years. Let me turn him into a man. Let me get him ready for whatever is coming. Let me educate him. And you making a terrible mistake of putting an athlete out on the field when there's a possibility of a pandemic or an injury or whatever it may be, irresponsibly, that reflects back on you and the organization.
Last thing, and they will say that, Tariq, but aren't these shots really being called by the lawyers at those two conferences that said they're not playing? This is a legal issue.
Yeah, this is a legal issue. But this goes back to what Duffy was talking about before when we're talking about what do we want to do with these athletes? Are they athletes first, students second, or are they students first, athletes second? And you don't want to run the risk of any kid, whether they play football or not, getting this. I mean, look at the universities in our area. They're going through precautions and quarantining kids from out of state. All of these kids are coming from different states, high COVID numbers. And now they're going to be on your campus, your responsibility. It's a different ballgame now. No one wants to get sued.